So, before I get into the video, I have two quick things to go over. First, and most importantly, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded since June? I don't know. Either way, basically, I had work during July, so it was very hard for me to put time into this channel, especially because these videos take so long to make. And all that time I did have, I mostly put into the first channel and filming those videos. So, I'm sorry that I haven't been too frequent on this channel. I really have some great ideas I want to do. And I promise I'll get better at uploading in the future. Also, most importantly, spoiler warning for Dead End Paranormal Park, which if you haven't watched it already, go do. It's a great show. And I'm really not holding back on what I spoil. There are certain parts of the show that I don't want to spoil because I want you to see it for yourselves. But then there are other parts, like, for example, the ending of episode 10 that I do spoil. So, that's the tease for season 2. So if you haven't finished Dead End Paranormal Park, please do before watching this. I do not want to ruin anybody's experience by giving my own dumb personal thoughts. And now first on the agenda of things I want to cover. When I was writing the script, I realized it turned into much more of a character analysis and my opinions on all the characters, but instead of talking about the actual show itself. So I decided to sneak in a little part here about the animation, because I figured, when you're looking at the show, that's really what you see. So I want to talk about it because I think that it looks really nice, actually. It was in the first episode, in the first ever scene where the girl, I'm not going to spoil, see, I'm holding back a little bit on spoilers, was being chased by a ghost, and it was when all the shots were turning, and just the overall visuals of that shot, really, really stunning. And there are also some other shots, I'm sure you can see on screen right here, I'll have to find these later, that just look really nice overall, and it's really impressive what they were able to do with all these scenic backgrounds, many of the theme park rides, and hell itself looked really good. So very impressed with how the show looks, and it's just really simple and really nice at the same time. So it's really impressive what they were able to pull off with it. Now I'm going to dig into that aforementioned character analysis part, where basically when I was writing the script I didn't realize how much I had to say about these characters. So we're going to start off with Courtney, who is an absolute goat. In these shows like The Owl House or Gravity Falls, I always really like the characters that are just a bad role model. I really like Ida from The Owl House. I really like Uncle Stan from Gravity Falls. Just the funny, not necessarily older characters, but ones that teach you the lessons about robbing and just stuff that you really shouldn't teach kids, but you do anyway. That's the vibes that Courtney gives me on the show. Basically, she's just a chaotic neutral, and I absolutely adore it. All of the scenes with her in it are top-notch. From the scenes of her, more story-driven plot of her wanting to go home, from the scene where she drags what we think is a body up the stairs, and she didn't give any context except for really busy, was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, you found out later what the body was, and it wasn't a body per se. But still, the fact that they just gave us no context right away sold her as a character for me. And speaking of that aforementioned plot of her wanting to go home, honestly, one of my favorite plots from the show. I really liked how just even in the less plot-driven episodes, like episode 4, for example, that was more focused on Patrick and Barney, they still managed to sneak in that little conversation with Pugsley, where you really get to see how much she wants to get home, and I don't know, I just think that's really nice, And then, of course, the actual payoff when she does get home, and then she starts to miss everybody back, I don't know, in the surface world, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was really nice. It was obviously a little predictable, as pretty much everybody who watched that scene could be yeah, she's gonna want to go back and miss everybody. But I thought that the way they did it was still really, really nice, so good job. Also, a weirder thing about Courtney is, they really wanted to tease her being evil throughout the whole show. So basically, in the earlier episodes, obviously we didn't have much information, she was kind of what we thought was kind of the main villain. She was trying to get Tama Lucas, sorry if I mispronounced that, in the dog. She was trying to go home. As far as we knew, she was doing it for selfish reasons. I don't know if I'm saying this the way I'm trying to think of it. But, like, yeah, she was painted as a villain in the earlier episodes. And then we redeemed her towards, like, episode 5, 6, early episode 7. And then by the time we got to episode 8, when she teamed up with Pauline, spoilers, I told you I wouldn't hold back on spoilers. They really teased her being evil again. Just for that one moment. And then kind of retconned it immediately after. But still, I don't know what their obsession was with making her seem evil. I suppose next we should move on to one of 2, 3 main characters, if you count Pugsley as a main character. Barney, who's kind of got center stage for most of the show. I mean, Norma did have a lot of screen time, but I would honestly say the main character was Barney. And I really enjoyed him throughout the show. His plot with his parents was really good. I really liked what they did with it towards the end, where they didn't, like, accept him immediately. I thought that was really important, because if it was just, like, they immediately accepted him... Wow, that's weird. The AC turned off, and that's really quiet. But if they just accepted him immediately, I don't think that it would have had as good of a payoff in the finale as it did. I also just enjoyed that, like, storyline of him wanting to be accepted. And, like, in episode 3, when it was revealed his greatest fear was just that his parents didn't have his back, that was, like, really deep. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, but it was just really nice overall, you know? It gives a good message to trans people all over the world. It gives a good message to not trans people like me, understanding how they live and what some struggles they go through are. And yeah, it was just really, really nice message overall. Next up, we have kind of the third main character in a way. We have Pugsley, who I wouldn't say is a main character, but he did have a lot of the focus with the whole Tama Lucas thing. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that still. But yeah, that was like a main part of the show all the way up to the finale. I would almost say it's the main plot. So basically there's 2 main plots. There's the Tama Lucas plot inside of Pugsley, and then there's the Pauline storyline, which I would honestly say the Tama Lucas is the main plot of the show. And because of that, Pugsley gets a lot of screen time. And I'm not saying that it is bad screen time. I actually enjoyed a lot of the scenes with Pugsley, because he said it himself. He is the comic relief. He is just the fun character. Every time he's on screen, you are supposed to smile. You're not supposed to be like, oh, I'm going to take this talking dog really seriously. No, he's the comic relief. And he's just fun overall, and he had a great plot. Tama Lucas was a great character inside of the dog. I don't know, I'm struggling for words right now. No cuts, by the way. I'm doing this all in one take. But yeah, he had a really nice plot inside of the dog. That finale scene where he fought his sister, spoilers, and he, like, the giant flaming dog, as well as just the excellent song of Driver's Seat before it, just an absolute perfection. Absolute perfection was what I would describe that finale as. Alright, continuing the streak of main characters, we have Norma, who's definitely more of a main character than Pugsley. She would probably be my favorite character if Courtney wasn't just the GOAT overall. But Norma, I really liked her storyline more than Pugsley's, even though that was kind of the main storyline of the show. I just overall find myself enjoying Norma's plot more. Almost because it's, like, relatable in a way, because it's kind of like the common trope of, like, your heroes are awful people turned up to 11 because she's dead and she's a ghost. So, like, I really enjoyed that one scene in episode 7, the end of episode 7, I believe, where she finds out Pauline's a spirit, right? Which is like, all the other characters are surprised, and she just stands there, and she's, like, upset. And it's like, you can feel her pain, because in earlier episodes, like episode 5, for example, Christmas in July, when she gets the doll, you can tell that she's really, really, like, a big fan of Pauline, especially in episode 1 when there was the whole wall thing. Like, there's a lot, like, you understand that she, like, idolizes this person, and when she finds out that she's a fraud, and not only that, but she's doing awful things to people, she's kidnapping people for their youth, and then letting them go when they're, like, old, as we see with, like, Barbara and stuff. I don't know, it's just a great character moment overall, and they never made her obsession annoying either. Because that is really a common trope with some of these characters, is like the obsessive nerds can be annoying. And they never did that with her. I feel like all the scenes in earlier episodes where, like, she was fangirling over Pauline never got to the point of annoying, which is a good thing because obviously, like I said, common trope with these characters most of the time. But yeah, another thing before we move on from Norma, her relationship with the other girl, which I definitely did not have to look up the name. Apparently it's Badia? Badia? I'm definitely mispronouncing that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they ever say her name on the show? Maybe like once or twice, but I don't think they said it a whole lot. So, like, it's not crazy that I didn't know her name. But yeah, her relationship with her was very sweet. It was very wholesome. Not much else to add to that. I just thought it was an important thing to add about her character. Now we can finally move on from the little character analysis we have going on. I guess we could talk about the side characters real quick, which is not scripted, so it's just going on top of my head. Logs, Barney's crush / interest / romantic partner, as we saw in the finale. I liked his character. He was the only one aside from, let's say the name again, Badia, that was really fleshed out. Because I believe the blonde guy, was it Chris? Chris? This sounds right? The surfer guy. And then obviously there was all the other lookalikes of Pauline. I wish they got more fleshed out, honestly. They really could have used more screen time. But yeah, the only one that really stood out was Logs, unfortunately. So, kind of a letdown, kind of not, because I enjoyed the focus on the main character, especially with only 10 episodes. I get it. So, like, I'm not too upset. But at the same time, more time on side characters would have been absolutely phenomenal. But now we should move on to opinions on the show overall, instead of just talking about characters, because no more talking about characters. It's, honestly, this is a phenomenal show. I've said it already. If you haven't watched it already, you really should. I highly recommend it. It's a pretty short watch. Each episode, except for one, is 22 minutes long. And it's only 10 episodes. It doesn't take that long to finish. Definitely check it out. But unfortunately, just like any other good show, it does have some weaker episodes, is what I'll call it. Basically episodes that, on my initial watch through, because I only watched this once for this review, by the way. I'm going to do another video that's going to involve me watching this twice. So maybe my opinions will change. But for right now, the weaker episodes of the show are definitely episodes 1 through 3. I get they're like setting up the main plot of the show. That's why I give episode 1 a pass. But episodes 2 and 3, at least on my initial walkthrough, was kind of boring to me. And then when we got to episode 4, I was like, yeah, this show's amazing. And then each episode just kept getting better. Literally every episode I watched, I was like, ooh, this is my new favorite one. Or, ooh, I think I like this one more than episode 4 or whatever. And I was like making my own order in my head until we finally peaked at the last 3 episodes, which definitely top 3. Spoilers for a future video I had planned, by the way. But yeah, definitely peaked at episode 9. But unfortunately, first 3 episodes, not huge on. And finally, before I wrap up, we're going to talk about a possible season 2. So, at the end of episode 10, there was, spoilers, a scene of an angel, I think. Could be something that's not an angel, but it is highly suggested, and maybe I already said if I forgot, that was an angel who said something like, reading this off the top of my head, we found the ones we've been looking for, I'm pretty sure is what he said. And I think that sets up a season 2, focusing more on the angels rather than the demons. Obviously, we still have the looming threat of Tim Lucas' sister, which is a character, personally, I don't care that much for. I think it's the voice. It just like doesn't sound menacing enough, but that's really not what we're going on about. We're going on about the angels. But yeah, angels could be a really big part of season 2. I'd really like to see that. I don't know if they said they're doing a season 2, but they definitely teased one. So it's more likely than if they didn't. And also an interesting point that could be brought up in season 2 is in one of the last couple episodes when Courtney got her cuffs removed by Tim Lucas' sister, I believe, she said that they were angel cuffs, which is something that I feel like not many people grabbed onto, but like my lore senses, is what we'll call them, kind of clicked onto that. I was like, that's got to be important for something, right? And then they gave the angel tease at the end of season 1, and I was like, this has to be important for season 2. So I'm still holding on to that in my head, and it might play a big part in season 2. And if it was, just know that I was right. But we're going to switch papers over to the finale sort of thing. This is just the wrap-up. So those are my little opinions on Dead End Paranormal Park. Once again, watch the show if you haven't already. Trust me, it's phenomenal. It's on Netflix. Looks great. Characters are great. Everything about it is pretty great. Highly recommend watching it, especially with shows like Amphibia being over and Owl House on its way out. Definitely a really good watch if you just have some spare time and you want a show to watch. But I'm going to wrap things down here. You all are amazing. Keep being awesome and take care of yourselves. Mental health is very important. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.